So I start from the easiest one that people have probably seen before, Weber dance, how bees actually do it, round dance. Round dance actually I did it, the film, when Anna and Megan and I were in Mexico. I used my cell phone to record it. And Tremble dance, it's very hard to see. I've seen only once or twice before I had my phone. So this is borrowed from Dr. James Nye from UCSD. And stop signal is highly unusual. I have not seen it. He has a video and a recording. ICU behavior, so all the other videos are done by me. ICU clean dance, vibration dance, washboarding, queen piping. I don't have a video sound recording from the circle from the internet. I actually do not have it. I've heard queen piping many times. That's all before I had the cell phones handy many years ago. And then finally, I'll show you my video of singing to the bees. So what it tells the other workers is that go outside and then fly toward the sun. You have to have a joy imaginary line called the sun azimuth, and then you go to the left. So it's an imaginary angle you draw from the sun to you, and then it'll be 30 degrees to the left. So you go outside and fly 30 degrees to the left, based on how many shakes per second. That tells the other bees the distance of the flowers. So if it shakes faster, then it'll be closer. If it shakes slower, then it's going to be further from the hive. So that's that's the easiest behavior you can see. You open the hive in the summer, you take a frame out, probably 1 or 2 frames toward the outside, and if you're lucky, you will see bees coming back either with pollen. So those bees paying attention, those bees are the listeners attending the bee dance. So the worker, the dance follower have to follow the same bee maybe 5 or 6 different times, and they use an average of the angle to go to the correct direction. And even after 5 or 6 times, there's still error, probably 2 or 3 degrees, because it's not, these are not that perfect in measuring the angle. And the dancers also have errors. It's not consistent every time. So it makes small differences every time it dances. So that's why the bees have to do 5 or 6 times and make the average. So you can see the difference between this one compared to the Weber dance. So this bee is just crazily make a round trip and then come back in another direction. But there's no straight line compared to the Weber dance. So this dance does not have distance information. But I have not actually seen round dance inside the hive. So this is only one of the times I saw it outside, which is also unusual. Tremble dance. So tremble dance happens when the colony, there's a big honey flow and everybody's busy, and then usually when nectar forager comes home, not usually, all the time, the bee would have to unload the nectar to other bees. Unlike pollen foragers, she kicked the pollen off herself, and other bees have to use their head to hammer the pollen. But for nectar foragers, I think water foragers also, they spit water directly. But nectar foragers, they have to have receiver bees to take the load off. So this also is part of the information sharing, tells the other bees when, especially during the dance, other bees can smell their nectar,
that helps in locating the flowers. But then they unload inside the hive is also part of the information transmission, because the bee will be unloading to 2 or 3 different unloaders. So if the current is too busy, there's not enough for bees unloading the nectar, then the foragers would be waiting and waiting and waiting, let's say waiting for 10 minutes. So usually it's only 2 or 3 minutes she's going to be unloaded and then go outside. But if the account is too busy, too much, too big a honey flow, not enough bees to process it, then those bees become impatient, waiting, and then they'll do this tremble dance. So that's the only time they do it. So you won't be able to see it. I've seen it once or twice where I sit in front of beehive 8 hours a day for a month, and I've seen that twice. So the difference is from a cleaning dance is a tremble dance. Bees would shake slowly and then change direction and shake again, but not as fast as a cleaning dance. So the microphone is following the bee doing the tremble dance. It's actually quite fast. So it's actually faster than the cleaning dance. Cleaning dance is slower. And this microphone is used to record the actual buzzing, which we cannot hear from. So this is a microphone picking up the sound amplified many times. Stop signal, they call it butt heading, I think. So the bee is using the head to hit a bee and then make a short beep, beep. So that makes that's usually the other bee is doing a dance. So it makes other bee stop dancing. See if you can see the dancing. Yeah, you can see the bee is doing waggle, and this bee is doing waggle, and this becomes side and beep. So this behavior is to stop the dancers, basically when the bees sense danger. So, okay, there's a feeder there, there's good sugar. Uh, so to them, it's like a honey flow. Another bees are dancing, indicating their location. And suddenly this bee saw a giant wasp hovering around. So it's coming back and telling her sisters, stop going there to this location. Stop dancing for this location because it's a dangerous situation there. There are some predators there, big wasps. So basically that's what the bees are telling the dancers, stop doing this dance. It's not a good idea to send more sisters there. I see you. So the bees shaking together. It's called I see you. It should be called we see you because it's a group. But the scientist James Nye is also one of the co-authors. One group of scientists in China describe this behavior as I see you. It's basically telling the wasps, okay, we know you're here. So we're prepared if you attack us. So it's basically a warning to the predator saying, we know you're here, so don't take your chances, basically. We could hit you to death. So if you check the wasp behavior, the wasp is actually trying to catch a returning bee in air instead of catching a bee on the entrance because that's dangerous, because the other workers would jump to the wasp and then actually form a ball about this big and then heat the wasp to about 50 degrees Celsius, very hot, and cook the wasp to death, and the bees are fine. So in order to avoid that, the wasp is only catching a single returning bee with nectar or pollen. And then she would actually throw away the abdomen and the head, only take the thorax because the thorax is all flight muscles. So it's 95% meat compared to abdomen, which has a lot of junk on the head. So she wiggles her abdomen and she uses her legs a lot. So you can see it's very different from the tremble dance. Tremble dance is faster and it's side by side. This one, so the tremble is side by side. This one is more like this instead of whole body side by side. It's the head is more fixed with the butt moving sideways a little bit more. And usually when the bee, so the cranial dance is basically saying, hey, I'm itchy. Somebody come and clean me. So usually you will see other bees will jump in and then start chewing on her. That's called grooming. So you can see this bee here. She's grabbing another bee, and this is actually not very typical. Usually the shaking is vigorous and very fast. This one is a little bit slower than usual. I need to make a better video. You can see she has old wings. Now she's shaking just the wax. See, this is a laying worker colony. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eggs here in the cell. So this is very typical for a colony that has lost the queen and has since become what's called hopelessly queenless. Hopelessly queenless means the colony has no young larva to raise the emergency queen cell. So then the workers will develop the ovary and start laying eggs. So this is what happens. You see multiple eggs per cell. So the same colony. But the DVIV is not very typical. So the DVIV basically, what's the signal? The message is usually it has been raining, let's say for 2 or 3 days. So everybody's staying home, all the foragers staying home, slacking off. Then suddenly it cleared up, the weather is fine, but not everybody would know that it's at a dark hive. So some bees would realize that it's sunny outside and they would start shaking the other bees saying, okay, get back to work, the weather is fine now. So I have done a study to measure the bees that have been shaken by the shakers, and the juvenile hormone levels is one hormone. Hormone levels would actually increase, so the bees have become more forager-like. Washboarding behavior. So here you see all the bees are evenly spaced out. Actually, there's still controversy as to what the bees are doing with this behavior. One previous theory was that this is a rudimentary behavior of bees when they're nesting inside the tree hole. So they want to make the bark smooth and polish it and polished so the ants cannot get inside the hive, inside the nest. So in the tree hole, they try to remove the debris and make the bark shiny and smooth so ants can walk on it. So that's one theory. A more recent paper says this might be used to aid, maybe bees are releasing some pheromone, aid the returning foragers, which I doubt. I have observed this behavior in the last 2 or 3 years. I've seen them do it on the side of the hive, even on the back of the hive. So it's stopped for, and at night. So like right now outside in the summer, it's 8:30 and bees are not very foraging anymore. And the bees are still doing this behavior. I don't remember if I observed them doing it at night. I think they will do it at night in dark, but I don't have actual data observing them in the dark to see if they do it. So this is called washboarding behavior because it resembles your old times when you have a washboard, you put your clothes on and you keep pushing it, massaging the cloth with soap. So of course nowadays the younger generation doesn't know what we're talking about when we say washboarding because everybody uses a washing machine. Queen piping. So you can hear there's 2 queens singing a duet. So what does this mean? So I'll translate this to you as, so I'll translate the dialogue between the two queens. So in the normal colony, the old queen would take about 55 or 60%, actually more workers away when they're swarming. And they do it about 1 to 2 days before the virgin queen is to emerge. So they do that because the virgins have an instinct to kill another queen. So she doesn't recognize it's her mother. So you say, okay, I'm going to find all the queens in the colony. She will actually find all the queen cells and chew it open on the base, and then actually bend her abdomen inside and sting that pupa. And I have seen the queen emerges from, I give them a glass vial. So the queen emerges and she didn't realize it's her own queen cells. She was still chew it open. Uh, she thought it'd be another queen cell attacking it. It's actually the same one she came out from. She didn't know. So it's her instinct to patrol the hive and then kill another queen, whether it's a virgin or a laying queen. So to avoid that, the old queen would leave a day or two, usually maybe most of them a day before the queen emerges. But it has been raining for the 2 days that the queen's supposed to leave. She couldn't leave because it's raining. So the workers would actually try to push the virgin bee back and seal the capping, but the virgins would try to get out. So now the old queen would send a signal, send this piping, the long one, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then they so saying, okay, my daughter, I cannot leave today. So I want you to stay inside the cell so we can avoid the fight. So the daughter queen tells the mother, okay, I heard you. So she does a quick one. Nya, 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 nya. So that you see the two queens singing a duet. So when the queen is actually piping, all the workers, most of the workers, I think I've seen some doing dorsal ventral abdominal vibration, DVAV, or it's called vibrational dance. I've seen them doing continue to do that, and then the vagal dance probably continue to do that. But all other bees that are walking around, doing nursing, they all stop they're doing. So it's the reason I think they do that is because queen piping, it's through, even though we can hear it, but workers have to hear it through what's called substrate vibration. So the frame vibrates because the queen is piping. So because workers are bad hearers, bad listeners, not listeners, but hearers, because they can only hear, the mechanism of their hearing is through Johnston's organ on their antenna, and they can only hear 2 to 3 millimeters far away. Our ears, we can hear 20, 50 yards if you yell at me, because we hear sound wave changes, so which carries much further. This here by detecting air particle movements. So that's why you see the microphone have to be so close to the bee to record it. So the bees will stop their doing to tell everybody, okay, we should let the queen signal carry further on the frame. So eliminate all the noise, basically. So they all stop what they're doing when the queen's piping. Of course, that's very hard to observe because for number one, it's very rare to hear the queen piping. Number two, you have to go open the colony up when the queen's piping and observe what the workers are doing. But don't worry, I have emulated what the queen does by singing to the bee. Okay. Now it's recording. Okay. Now you guys watch the magic. Ah! This side grows.
Oh, this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. Do it again.
Who wants to practice?
Yeah, they did. That's exactly what that's what that time.
Everybody together.
Would that be a certain frequency?
Yeah, that's actually the same frequency. So this was done at the HIS when I was doing bee behaviors in real person. So the reason I borrowed somebody's iPhone, I turned on the clock, that is to show you that I didn't edit my video, because you could just edit the video and hit pause mode and keep talking in the video and telling people cheating that you stop the bees. But I did not do that because it's in front of a group, and also I have the iPhone here, the clock is ticking, but the bees are not moving at all. A few bees are actually moving. And then the students as a group all sang together and bees also stopped. Basically, the sound I sound was imitating a bee's piping, a queen's piping. So that all the workers interpret that as a queen is piping to them. So they all stop what they're doing, trying to let the signal carry further. To review it, waggle dance tells the bees the workers' direction and distance of food source. Tremble dance, round dance will be food is close by, so no direction, no distance. Tremble dance is need unloading nectar. Somebody come, so the colony should allocate more bees to specialize in unloading nectar. Right now I need to be unloaded so I can go outside. Stop signal is danger outside there, so stop dancing. I see you is don't mess with me. We know you're here. Cleaning dance is I'm itchy, come and clean me. Vibration dance is get out, do some work. Washboarding is possibly let us smooth things out, trying to make the landing board a little bit better. That's one scientist thought. Queen piping would be mom talking to daughters and then to daughter queen, and then all the workers would stop and listen to the queen. Actually stop moving so the signal will be transmitted to the virgin queen better. So if you have questions, if you didn't have a chance to answer today, here's my email, easy to remember, bees@msu.edu. Thank you very much.